what we're going to be sharing with you today is an actual success story that we lived through, you know, digitizing the entire tenant owner experience in real life, because we manage a very large market share of real estate assets. Now, just to brief you on this exercise and what happened then. So this was like a while ago when we realized that we need to bridge all those gaps, look into them, see what's happening, look into, you know, creating customer experience excellence, operational excellence at the back end, and how to optimize and streamline our processes. Make sure we're not wasting time, we're not doing double work, you know, avoiding all those hybrid processes, manual, online, etc. Of course, while applying innovation across the journey throughout residential, commercial, or the retail assets that we manage. We were looking at standardization because of the volume of communities that we manage, the number of residents and owners, be it retail or residential. We needed to standardize the experience a little bit, create, you know, a character to the brand that we represent, as well as, of course, find a scalable platform or solution that would work across the portfolio. So this is just to walk you through the actual depths of what we did. So the very first thing we did was to really step back and just analyze the status quo. What we're doing, what are the customers saying, what's the voice of the customer, how are they feeling, what's the sentiment? Identifying the gaps and seeing what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right, enhancing the experience by identifying where we need to go, what is the right process, how do we improve that, what's the next step forward, and we were listening to the customer every single step of the way. And then from there, we reached the ultimate, basically, vision of the change, where we created the customer journey playbooks that identifies every single touch point, what the customer experience needs to look like, what tone of voice to speak in across the entire journey. And then we monitor and assess. This is what we looked at. So we looked at the processes, the gaps and opportunities. We laid out the stages, every one of them, the touch points throughout each of them, the processes there, the customer experience, and then who's responsible in the organization. This is just a snapshot. I'm not going to take you through it in detail, because that's going to be boring. But it's just a very quick snapshot to show you. So we started from the awareness, basically, of the property that we're managing, all the way through consideration, acquisition, all the way to advocacy or exit. We looked at the stages, the touch points throughout each. We then looked into the pain points, customer goals, what are the must-dos, so priority lists and quick wins. The customer experience, so as you can see, we actually surveyed every single step of the moment. So we do the transaction and we test and ask the customer then and there. And then moving on to the processes, of course, and the streamlining. We also tried to map out the ideal experience that we wanted for our customers, whether it's residential, commercial, or the retail customers. Starting from when they enter the community, how they access, is it keyless access, plate recognition, how their apps actually talk to them, how we can personalize our messaging to them, the classes they prefer, reminders on what they need to do, reminders of their payments, whether it's service charges for owners or rent for tenants, community chats and different community members speaking to each other, how to also integrate with their health app or the loyalty program app that we had, just to, you know, create this one app that caters to all the needs. The pain points were all identified, as mentioned, so we had quite a number of them. I've just listed a few here, but it mainly was about bridging the gap and creating that continuous journey that is completely connected as opposed to disconnected. And we also identified the different features that our residents actually wanted. Now, this was the result. We did launch community portal and app that catered to all of that. It was never a full solution on day one. It went into different iterations. We went with a small product, and we evolved and developed it with time, depending on exactly what the customers need. We've looked into the financials, starting from whether it's the rent or signing off with us, or on service charges, passing of SPAs, etc. Right now, we actually have 23 communities onboarded onto the app and portal. Over 20,000 users, so that's 80% of our existing customer base across the communities. payment transactions of around 23 million so far, and then a lot of virtual classes were actually broadcasted on the platform, which served us really, really well during the COVID times, where we wanted to actually keep people entertained and really provide lifestyle activities on the portal. Okay, this is just a very quick view of the app, the different features in there, you know, the ease of use. And as I said, it was launched, it was tested, it kept on changing. We kept on adding features or doing enhancements. These are the financials here and the payments. This is just a very quick snapshot just to give you a flavor of what it looks like. Service requests. And there was a question earlier today about what are the most frequently used services. Digital IDs were also added to allow access. This is what the portal actually looks like. On the other hand, again, same features and a few more. Community info, what you need to know, the documents and handbooks you need to download, etc. Your galleries, calendar of events, and then all your classes, offerings, amenities, everything can be booked through the portal. And the team is there on the back end, where we also have built-in SLAs and turnaround times to make sure we actually meet the service levels that our customers are expecting. And then that's going to the financials, etc. You view your statements, download them. So the entire, everything you need to do, you do it online. Now, we backed this up with an operational app that we actually have for doing maintenance, inspecting our communities, making sure anything that is raised by the resident on the front end community portal and app reaches our maintenance team on ground immediately. So you get a work order right on your app. It tells you exactly where to head, what to do. You finish it off, you take your photo and video, upload it, goes back to our OA or PM teams who actually inspect and finish it off on the spot. Now, of course, in addition to that, it manages all the subcontractors' jobs on ground across the communities, and it's managed by whether the OA PM team, we do the snagging through it. It's also a very good tool for attendance, of course, when it comes to maintenance teams on ground, and that becomes part of the full ecosystem. So you've got your app and portal, you've got your Provis Connect operational app at the back end, and all fully integrated with our technical architecture and ecosystem. Now the results. I have to say we did largely improve the experience. We have it, because we were assessing every step of the way, we know our NPS moved from -44 in 2020 to +69 in 2021. We were monitoring sentiments, our turnaround times, SLAs, how we're actually delivering against the customer expectations. And this is just a little example of some of the sentiments that we have from our Qualtrics generated surveys. And just a very quick one that, as mentioned, during the COVID times, this platform was the perfect foundation for us to service our residents, owners, tenants, whether it's B2B, B2C. It was very, very quick in terms of implementation because we already had it all in there. It was just a matter of identifying what we need to do, developing it, and launching right away. So we had the out-of-home mode, for example, that was launched at the time, where if you leave your home, you had members of the team looking after it, and it's just a purely personalized chat online where people take care of you and you don't even need to see them or contact them. We had features about the vaccines and what's happening in the communities just for people to have those discussions with them, guidelines from the authorities, etc. So that proved to be very, very useful. And the thousands of minutes of lifestyle exercises that were actually done. And thank you very much.